Tell a man he is free, and he will grow lazy. Tell him he is trapped, and he will tear down the walls with his own hands. Tell him he cannot have something, and he will burn the world to possess it. Machiavelli understood a truth many modern minds find uncomfortable. The human spirit does not respond to logic. It responds to resistance. We are wired to defy, to protect the fragile sense of autonomy in our ego. For this reason, the direct approach, asking for what you want, begging for love, demanding respect, is often the quickest way to lose it. To control outcomes, you must stop chasing them. You must master the art of the inverted command. Society tells you honesty is the best policy, that speaking up gets results. And where has that gotten most people? Ignored, overlooked, taken for granted. Those who truly wield influence, the seducers, negotiators, strategists, do not ask. They create a reality in which others hand them exactly what they want, believing it was their idea. This is not a game. It is the architecture of human will. Once you recognize the strings, you can never go back to being a puppet. What follows are the 13 Machiavellian laws of reverse psychology. These are not tricks. They are tools designed to bypass resistance, disarm the ego, and trigger instinctual drives in others. A warning: to use these laws effectively, you must first master the hardest person in the room, yourself. Attempt to wield them with uncontrolled emotions, and they will backfire. The blade cuts both ways. We will climb from simple resistance to the deepest strategies of influence. By the end, you will understand why the person who cares the least holds the most power, and how to become that person. Law 1. The illusion of choice. The most basic desire of the human ego is autonomy. When someone feels forced, they resist. They may reject a good idea simply because it wasn't theirs. Amateurs command. Masters offer options. Machiavelli knew that to achieve a specific outcome, you never force the path. You present alternatives. Offer 2 doors. Door A leads to your desired outcome. Door B is slightly worse or clearly unacceptable, guiding them toward door A. Consider a child. Told to go to bed, they resist. But if asked, do you want to go now or in 5 minutes? They feel in control and choose what you intended. Adults are the same, just with larger vocabularies and stronger defenses. In negotiation, avoid saying, "This is the deal." Instead, frame it as, "We can sign today to lock the price or wait until next quarter when rates rise." The choice appears theirs. Pressure is removed, pride is preserved, and they follow the path you prepared. You are not the dictator. You are the architect. They walk where they choose, but you built the roads. Law 2. The forbidden fruit. Nothing is more compelling than a "do not enter" sign. Psychology calls this reactance theory. When freedom is threatened, we feel compelled to reclaim it. We desire what is scarce, denied, or restricted. To make someone obsessed with an idea, do not sell it. Forbid it. Present it as risky, advanced, or exclusive. To attract someone, do not offer yourself freely. That is cheap, and cheap things are ignored. Instead, create a barrier. "I don't think this would work. You probably shouldn't watch this video. It's disturbing." Notice your reaction. You leaned in, didn't you? Denying access triggers the ego. They strive harder to qualify themselves. By disqualifying them, you become the prize. Law 3. The strategic surrender. Most argue to win. The strategist knows sometimes you lose temporarily to win ultimately. Against a stubborn opponent, pushing only strengthens resistance. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Stop pushing, pull. Machiavelli advised that to conquer an enemy, you may need to first agree with them. When attacked, do not defend. Agree, amplify their point to its extreme, or calmly accept their premise. "You're right. My plan is risky. Perhaps we shouldn't change anything." Watch closely. Their stance falters. In surrender, you create a vacuum. They often start arguing your side just to restore balance. Mastery of reverse psychology means knowing you do not need to drive the car. Sometimes, letting the alignment steer achieves your goal. Law 4. The void of silence. We live in a noisy world. Everyone broadcasts, explains, justifies. Silence is rare, and therefore powerful. Explaining yourself drains your influence. giving others material to dissect or challenge. The Machiavellian knows, the less you say, the more commanding you appear. Use silence as a vacuum. When you ask a question and receive a partial truth in return, do not respond. Do not rush to fill the silence. Maintain eye contact and wait. The human mind dislikes emptiness and becomes uneasy in quiet moments. Silence creates pressure. It suggests you may know more than you are saying. It signals judgment, calculation, awareness. To release that discomfort, people often begin to speak. They expand on their answer. They correct themselves. They reveal details they intended to hide. They negotiate against their own position, offering compromises simply to end the silence. Silence is not a void. It carries weight. Learn to let it remain in the room until it forces clarity from the other side. Law 5. The mirror of narcissism. Every person sees themselves as the main character in their own story. They are not focused on you. They are searching for their reflection in you. If you want to influence someone, logic alone will rarely succeed. Your reasoning is shaped by your experiences, not theirs. Instead, reflect their values, echo their language, and subtly match their behavior. But there is a deeper layer. Reflect not who they are, but who they believe they should be. People carry an image of their ideal self: capable, honorable, intelligent, bold, compassionate. When you treat them as if they already embody those traits, they become drawn to you. You become the mirror that reinforces their self-image. Statements like, "You strike me as someone who values loyalty," or "You're too perceptive to fall for something like that," create an identity they feel compelled to uphold. Once labeled positively, they feel pressure to act in alignment with that label. If you say someone is too fair to let a minor issue block progress, they will often concede the issue to prove their fairness. Their ego completes the trap for you. Law 6. The subtle challenge. This is a high-impact tactic aimed directly at ego insecurity, competence. When you want someone to take on a demanding task, avoid pleading or incentives. Instead, question the feasibility. This needs to be done, but it may be too complex for your team right now. We might need outside help. Or, I considered bringing you in, but the risk level might be too high. The ego resists being seen as incapable. It feels its status is under threat and moves quickly to defend it. People will accept responsibility, risk, and pressure simply to prove they are equal to the challenge. However, precision matters. If the challenge feels like an insult, it fails. If it sounds like concern, it succeeds. Concern appears protective, and people will exhaust themselves to prove they do not need protection. Law 7. The anxiety of freedom. Philosopher Soren Kierkegaard described anxiety as the dizziness of freedom. While people claim to want complete freedom, unlimited choice often creates fear rather than relief. Telling someone, "Do whatever you want, I don't mind," is not freeing, it is unsettling. In relationships, the person who demands constant reassurance is signaling insecurity. The one who allows full autonomy holds the leverage. Why? Because unrestricted permission removes the appeal of rebellion. When nothing is forbidden, nothing feels thrilling. Additionally, indifference suggests confidence and abundance. It implies you are not afraid of loss. That realization is deeply unsettling. Instead of focusing on the freedom you grant, people begin to wonder why you can afford to give it so easily. They stay close not out of obligation, but out of concern that drifting away might cost them something valuable. Law 8. Strategic weakness. Machiavelli noted that appearing less capable than you can be useful. When you present yourself as sharp, flawless, and dominant, others become defensive. They compete, resist, and look for flaws. When you appear slightly uncertain or in need of clarification, defenses drop. Egos relax. People enjoy explaining, correcting, and guiding. Saying, "I'm not sure I fully understand your approach. Could you walk me through it again?" invites explanation. In the process, they reveal intentions, details, and assumptions. They underestimate you. And in any conflict, being underestimated is a decisive advantage. Law 9. Constructive pessimism. Modern culture favors constant encouragement and exaggerated optimism. Much of it lacks substance. Sometimes, the strongest motivator is agreement with doubt. When someone says, "I don't think I can do this," do not counter with empty reassurance. Instead, acknowledge reality. You're right. This will be extremely difficult. Most people wouldn't see it through. It may not be worth the effort. This approach builds trust by validating emotion rather than dismissing it. At the same time, it reframes the challenge. If success is presented as rare and costly, it becomes meaningful. Easy victories feel disposable. Difficult ones feel earned. People are driven not by comfort, but by significance. They want to overcome obstacles, not be handed simplified versions of them. Law 10. The implanted idea. The strongest ideas are the ones people believe they discovered themselves. Direct instructions trigger resistance. Guided realization creates ownership. This requires restraint. You introduce fragments. You ask questions that lead, not answers that dictate. You highlight issues without proposing solutions. Then you wait. A remark like, "It's interesting how competitors are reducing costs. I wonder what they're seeing," plants a seed. Later, when the idea returns as someone else's conclusion, you support it. You give credit freely. Control is maintained not by recognition, but by influence. Law 11. The contrast principle. The mind evaluates value comparatively, not absolutely. We judge cost, effort, and reasonableness by contrast. To secure agreement on a specific request, precede it with a far more demanding one. "I need you to stay late every night this week to finish the project." The comparison reshapes expectations before the real request is even made. "No way. I can't do that." "Okay, I understand. Can you at least give me 2 hours tonight so we don't fall too far behind?" "All right, I can do tonight." Notice the subtle power play. If you had asked for tonight immediately, they might have hesitated. But compared to every other night, tonight feels like a concession. It feels like they won the negotiation. Always anchor negotiations at the extreme. Define the battlefield so that the middle ground, the place you actually want, is perceived as a relief. Law 12. Controlled incompetence. This is a specific form of feigned weakness, often used in relationships and hierarchies. If you excel too much, you are punished with more responsibility. Fix the printer once, and suddenly you're the permanent IT person. Be responsible in a relationship, and you carry the mental load indefinitely. Sometimes, the smartest move is deliberate failure. Being clumsy, forgetting tasks, doing them poorly enough that you are never asked again. This is weaponized incompetence. It forces others to step up, preserves your time, and filters out tasks that don't serve your ultimate goals. Don't be the hero catching every falling plate. Let a few smash. The sound of breaking glass often teaches people your value more than endless service ever will. Law 13. The withdrawal. The final and most powerful law. Humans value what they might lose. You can be charming, skilled, intelligent, and beautiful, but if you're always available, you are worth nothing. Supply and demand applies to the human soul. If you feel taken for granted, don't complain or argue. Step back. Reduce your energy. Delay replies. Cancel plans. Create a void where your attention and validation once were. This triggers a primal response. Have I lost them? What changed? They will chase, overcompensate, and suddenly recognize how much space you occupied in their life. But this must be done without anger. Withdrawal in anger is a tantrum. Withdrawal in indifference is power. It signals that you are fully fine without them, and this is the only signal that commands true respect. Pause. Breathe. As you listen, you may be thinking about applying these laws to your boss, partner, or adversaries, imagining the strings you'll pull. But ask yourself, why the need to control? Fear drives it. Fear of abandonment, insignificance, or the unpredictability of others. Reverse psychology is often used as a shield in a world without guarantees. Here's the paradox. These laws only work if you don't need them. The truly detached, secure person applies them naturally. They are scarce because they have a life, mysterious because they don't overshare, and free because they aren't afraid of others' choices. Technique imitates mindset, but if used desperately to gain love or respect, neediness is obvious. You can't fake detachment forever. The mask slips. The ultimate reverse psychology is on yourself. Convince yourself you don't need the outcome. Build a life rich in purpose, fortified in mind, so rejection is data, not a wound. When you stop needing the world's approval, the world begins chasing you. Your task: don't try all 13 laws at once. You'll appear extreme. Pick one that scares you the most: silence, withdrawal, or agreeing with an insult. Try it once. Observe the reaction, watch the energy shift from them to you. In that moment, you'll realize you've been playing with your hands tied. You've been following rules that no longer exist. The world is a chessboard. Most are pawns, blindly reacting to the squares in front of them. It's time to move like the hand that controls the pieces. If you're ready to stop being a spectator in your own life, to learn the unspoken language of power, subscribe. We don't teach you to fit in, we teach you to transcend. See you in the next video. Don't let them see you coming.